because a death threat came in at 3 a.m. It all kind of started when I was about 7 and honestly went up until I had my first child. My mom, she would drive us down to see him and spend time with him, which was about a 3-hour drive.
Last episode, you heard what it cost a father. This week, you will hear what it took a daughter to survive it.
I went and I finally got my real estate license.
I know a thing or two about how amazing you are in real estate. You are in the top 10% of the entire state of Utah.
The moment that you feel like giving up, you just have to push a centimeter more.
This is McCall Ogden's story. Hey friends, welcome to That's Some Real Shift. I'm your host, Marilee. Here we talk about the moments that change us. So take a breath, get settled in, and let's dive into some real shift together.
It all kind of started when I was about 7 and honestly went up until I had my first child. He actually got out of prison. So he was in during different time periods. Yes. And I had my first child. He was released during COVID, like when everything happened. So really, my entire childhood, we went through this. Everything started when I was 7, which is weird, especially now having my own kids, and my oldest is 8. So seeing my kids at similar ages as I was and my siblings were when everything started just has given me such a different perspective from being a mom as well.
Did you know what was going on when you were 7?
Yes,
I understand your mom is like a little bit of a superhero in this
absolutely.
situation. He shared that she didn't badmouth him. She didn't try to hinder your relationship with him. She encouraged it.
She did. When everything started, I was 2nd grade. I think in life, we have really vivid memories of life-changing moments. My first memory of all of this was my grandpa picking me up at school, checking me out. It was weird. I'm like, my grandpa never checks me out of school. Why is my grandpa here? Got me in his truck, took me home. Everyone was really upset. There wasn't a whole lot of information shared at that point. Later, I found out a little more details on what was going on like that specific day. I think the moment I realized this is serious was when we started having news stations showing up to the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had a guy show up to our house with a weapon and threatening us. We had death threats all the time, and we actually had to leave like in the middle of the night and be thrown in the back of a car, and we were like, just lay down. Like, it was my dad. He's like, you guys lay down in the back. Don't sit up. I'm taking you home, because a death threat came in at 3 a.m. When those things started happening, I was like, this is serious. What's happening? And then losing everything too, losing your home and your cars and your animals. We literally lost everything once he left. And yeah, it's like you completely had to start over. And you brought up my mom, and you're absolutely right. They were really good about not oversharing the details with us, which I appreciate as an adult now, because I don't think as kids we're supposed to have that level of information. She was so incredible. And once he left and actually got sentenced and went to prison, she allowed us to talk to him. At the time, we would get like weekly phone calls, and then she would drive us down to Gunnison, was where he was at, which about a 3-hour drive. Every other weekend, she would drive us down to see him and spend time with him. Again, shift to the adult perspective of that. That took a lot of strength from her, because looking at my kids and like my family and my husband, if I went through it, that would be really challenging for me to want to support, because at any moment she could have walked away and just said, nope, like when he's out, you guys can work on that relationship with him. And she didn't. She was very supportive and still loved and cared about him and wanted us to continue our relationship with him too.
That is amazing that she did that, and that she would drive you to see him when he was in Colorado. Did you ever go there?
We did. He actually, all the timelines just blend sometimes in my mind. When he went to the Colorado federal prison, I didn't go a whole lot out there because we were older at that time. I actually took my 2 kids to Colorado to the prison to meet their grandpa for the first time out there too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been something that he was probably so grateful for.
Yeah, it was emotional because I think for him, that's not how you want to be introduced to your grandkids in that setting. And likewise for me, that was not ever my vision for my family. My kids now he's grandpa. They don't judge him for that. And they don't even remember necessarily. They were just young. And I don't think they really understood either, which is a beautiful thing about kids is they see the world through just the most innocent lens. We are the ones that give that moment meaning to them. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I didn't make a big deal out of it for them. It's just like, you're going to go meet your grandpa, and this is where grandpa's at right now. And that's just, we did, and they didn't think twice. They had cool vending machines, and they got snacks. They loved it.
I think as parents, we have a responsibility to frame things in a certain way for our children. I'm curious, what do you think that people don't really fully understand about what you went through as a kid when your parent is going through something so heavy that's out of your control?
I think, obviously, all kids, all people, we're all individuals, and how we handle different situations is going to be different for all of us, right? We talked about how I have a younger brother and a younger sister, and my experience, even though we went through the exact same thing, exact same timeline all together, my story is going to look so different from theirs, and my experience looks different from theirs. I think first and foremost, I would say understand that there's not a right or wrong way to handle those situations, because each kid is going to have their own takeaway from it. However, I think the biggest thing for me, and what I would say with that, is just keeping the details to a minimum, because I relate it in like us as adults, how we have information to everything, right, happening in the world, like literally in our hand, and we see it constantly. And I think it just overwhelms our nervous systems, and we don't know how to function with all this information. And I think a child is the same when something heavy is happening in their parent's life. Too much information is going to overwhelm their nervous system, just the same way we get overwhelmed with information. So I think keeping the details to a minimum, giving them a safe place is honestly the best way to go about that, because that's what my experience was. I didn't need to know the details. I just needed to know that, hey, things are happening, our life is changing a little bit, and we have each other, and we're going to get through it. And we did.
I love that. And I think a lot of people that are listening that are co-parenting in a really tough situation, they can really take what you said and use that in helping them to not share too many details about these tough situations and these hard things that people go through.
Right.
When other people would ask you about it, what was that like for you? How did you get through those moments and not let it define you?
Those moments started at a really young age. A very specific memory I have is 4th grade. And there was a kid in my class, and it's so silly now to talk about it, but like my little 4-year-old brain was so traumatized by this moment. We were just in class, and he leaned over and he said, "My parents say your dad's never getting out of prison." In that moment, I was so upset. The bell rang for the day. I missed my bus. I was so upset. My mom picked me up. I don't remember like our full conversation, but I remember after that, that was a very specific moment that taught me to block out other people's opinions, because their opinions aren't truth. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, I know he's getting out. There's a date he's getting out. That doesn't matter. And my whole life, I had moments like that. Like I had a high school teacher make a backhanded comment during class in front of my classmates. I would get new jobs, and my maiden name at the time was the same. It's a little more unique. So they'd always ask, "Are you related?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I would just get comments that were just mean. But I think early on I learned, okay, people can have their opinion. My dad did do something bad and he hurt people, but he's also my dad and I love him. And those two things can exist at the same time. They can exist simultaneously, and they can both hold truth, but I need to hold on to my truth and block out what's not my truth, right? Yeah, it was my entire childhood from elementary up until adulthood that I would have to just constantly block that out and just keep reminding myself, that's their perspective. That's their perspective. I don't need to see my dad through that lens.
You go through all of these times growing up, and this kind of becomes your normal, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Was there a moment that you had when you realized this doesn't define me?
I think it was always that way for me. I don't think there was ever a specific moment that was like, I'm making this choice. I just think those little comments that would be made and just going through it at a young age, I quickly learned this is my story and it's going to leave marks, but that's not going to define who I am. As I got older, I would find ways that I could control what's happening. Does that make sense? For me, it was work and school and being a good, studious kid. We moved a lot as kids too. I went to 4 different elementary schools. Every time we'd start over, I always made new friends and we always were okay. I think all of those small moments compounded just internally to say that didn't define you. Look, you're okay. Every time like a big life shift happens, you make it out and you're okay. I think it was just compounded moments that led me to internally say what happened doesn't define who I am.
It makes me think too, and I have teenagers now. Do you have teenagers?
No, mine are little.
Definitely in a different season of my life. And with having teenagers, I am introduced and I meet all kinds of kids over the years. Some of them come from different backgrounds. And I think it's so important to not place judgment, not make the child pay for, I don't know if you know what I'm saying.
I do get what you're saying. And it's funny just hearing you say that, looking back to moments, having adults make the comments that they made to me as a kid and as a teenager. I just look back, how awful of an adult to make that comment to someone that had no control over that and they're aware of that. I could never do that. And it's true. Everyone has a story. Everybody has a story. And yeah, who are we to place judgment, especially when something's out of their control? I think the one thing that kept me grounded was my mom and my siblings, because like I mentioned, we moved so many times. No matter where we were, they were always my home base, my safe place to land. So for me, that was always where I went to be grounded, was just being with my family. I look back and I laugh. I didn't do anything bad in high school. I didn't drink. I didn't try anything. I never snuck out. I got good grades. I just was such a rule follower. I saw what breaking the law can do to like the people around you, which terrified me. We're already in so much chaos all the time. I don't want to cause more chaos. I don't want to disappoint or push away my safe people. My family was always my safety, if that
The thing that I really want to focus on is that you did not let this circumstance affect where you were going. You didn't let it define your success. I know you're a modest person about your success, but I did my homework on you, and I know a thing or two about how amazing you are in real estate.
You're sweet.
You are in the top 10% of the entire state of Utah. Recently, I stalked you a little bit, got an award. You are the top sales agent in your brokerage. Correct if I'm saying this incorrect.
Yeah, I was in first this year, so.
First?
Yeah,
that's
exciting.
So amazing.
Oh, thanks.
And top 10% agents in Utah, there are people that go into real estate that don't even make it past 6 months.
It's a tough industry.
How long have you been in real estate?
A little over 7 years now.
7 years. And before this, you were in healthcare.
So I'll start by saying that everything that happened growing up really pushed me to be motivated, have success to some degree, just seeing how quickly things could be taken away from you. And my mom being a single mom, stay-at-home mom, having the rug pulled from beneath her just in the blink of an eye, I think subconsciously that was always my drive to be, nope, you're going to go to school, you're going to get a degree, you're going to have security. And that really was my internal motivation, was to have security. So I graduated college. I was in healthcare all through college for over 10 years. I was working from home finally. I was in clinics, offices, scheduling and supervisor positions, all sorts of fun stuff. I was working from home and I had just had my second baby. Real estate had always interested me, by the way. It's really funny, just to sidetrack really quick. I was going through just some old memorabilia stuff the other night, just cleaning out closets, the whole thing, decluttering. I came across like an old checklist that I had, and it was from, I think, like 2011. And I had a note on there that said, look into real estate school. So real estate was something that was on my want list for a long time, but I was terrified because it didn't offer the security that I wanted. So anyway, flash forward, during my second pregnancy, I went and I finally got my real estate license. I'm like, okay, I'm going to just do it. I'm going to get it, a plan B type thing. I took my maternity leave. My first day back to my job, we had hired a nanny to come during the day because our schedules were totally opposite. So we needed someone to cover a couple hours during the day. The first day back to work, she didn't show up. I was just traumatized. I'm hormonal anyway, right? Like, just had a baby. I'm going back to work, trying to balance a 17-month-old and a brand new newborn. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I can't work. I'm not going to meet my numbers. And he has to go to work because he drives. And it was just chaos. And so I'm bawling. And my husband comes in and he's like, just quit. And I'm like, insurance. 401k. I can't just walk away. I'm going to have a gap on my resume. What am I going to do? And I'm freaking out. And he's like, well, make it work. You have your real estate license. Just go for it. Both feet in. It was so scary for me. Again, we just talked about everything driving me up to that point was security. And real estate was my plan B. I don't want to go to my plan B. That scares everything. I'm so terrified. But he gave me that green light and we'll make it work. We'll put you on my insurance and we'll figure it out. And it was just a quick decision that I had to call. I'm really sorry. I know this is my first day back. My nanny didn't show up. This just isn't going to work. I can't even give you 2 weeks. This is my notice. I felt so bad doing that because that's just not my personality. It was so relieving at the same time because working full time and trying to get into the real estate industry just isn't a thing. It's too hard. It's so competitive anyway. And having to work a full-time job and do that on the side, I don't see how it would have worked any other way. I think too, looking back, if I would have even had a day or two, I probably would have talked myself out of it. But I just didn't have a choice. I was, okay, we're doing it. I have to make this work. And we did.
How long did it take you to figure out how to be successful in real estate?
It was a minute. It took a minute. I was at a couple different brokerages before I finally figured it out. My first brokerage, fantastic people, love all of them to death. All of them had been in the industry for so long. They had their systems. It wasn't really the best place for a brand new agent to go and learn the industry. So I left there, went to another brokerage, the same thing. I was getting a little bit more traction. I finally got my second deal. My first deal was my little sister and her husband, which thank heavens for them. They were so sweet. I finally got my second transaction when I was at the second brokerage. I was going into the office every day. I had my little newborn in the car seat and I had a little pack and play and I was trying and just nothing was happening. So we're in a brokerage meeting and the broker is standing up. Okay, guys, where's everyone's numbers at? And asking questions. What are you doing to get more business? Everyone's having an open discussion. Make sure you're calling your people and having the conversations and doing all the things. And I raised my hand and I'm like, I'm just really struggling. You say to call people, but who do I call? Because for me, I'm not a salesperson. I wanted my relationships and my clients to happen authentically. I just wanted to help people. I don't want to call and beg for business. That just feels so like icky to me. I asked him, you say make calls, who do I call? And he's like, just people you know. Okay, and what does that conversation look like? I don't want to be salesy. And he's like, maybe real estate's not for you. In front of the whole brokerage. And I'm sitting there, what? Did this just happen? I was so caught off guard. Okay, and it shut me up. Okay, this isn't my place to be here. They're not supporting me. And For me, when someone tells me I can't do something,
You're
it
gonna
lights that
do
fire.
it.
I'm going to prove them wrong, and I'm going to prove them wrong hard. And so that specific moment really lit a fire in me. Okay, not only do you have to be successful for your kids, but now you have something to prove to this person that just called you
Yes.
out in front of all these people. And I'm like, screw that. So I left that brokerage and I decided to join a team. And I think the team is really what turned things around for me. Just a little background for the real estate industry. Different brokerages have different splits, and you have to pay a little bit more on a team because you're getting a lot more help. And when you look at numbers and you're trying to make a living, sometimes that looks a little intimidating because that's a lot of money I'm going to not have to support my family. But in that moment, I see the value of what they offer, and I think they're going to help me, and it's worth it for me. I'll just have to work twice as hard. So I joined the team. That was really what pushed me into production. They provided the framework of what to do. I finally have someone coaching me and giving me tools and things to work on. That was really when things took off. It does help that it was during the real estate boom, 2020, when real estate was crazy, low interest rates. So being on that team and having that high volume just really got my skill set going. And then I think once you get into production and you figure things out, you keep rolling with that. It's easy to lose momentum. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sit and say, oh, once you're going, you're good. You can lose momentum really quick in the industry. You stop working, your pipeline stops. I was really thankful for that time frame on the team and everything they provided to really get me into production.
Success leaves clues, and you joined a team that were leaving those clues for you. They were teaching you there's a wheel out there that was already invented, and we don't have to reinvent it.
You have the blueprint, and you just have to get in the right rooms to learn it.
What was the biggest change? You were at this other place. What in the world do I even do? How do I start my day? And then you go to a place that has more mentorship and a team. I think teams are so important to success.
Oh, yeah.
And mentorship as well. You have to talk to someone that's done it before. What was the biggest change that brought you success for productivity that you did?
Honestly, a little bit of everything. I think mindset, first of all, is the biggest thing. Unlearning those beliefs that you have, learning your limiting beliefs and identifying those and working through those. For me, I had a little bit of a money wound, you can say, from everything else. And in my head, money's bad. Having money leads to bad things. And I think internally, I kept telling myself that story. So getting into that room with coaches and mentors and doing the mindset work, I identified so many things that I didn't realize that was the story I'm replaying in the back of my head. I think it started with mindset and then into relationships. Relationships are huge. You have to talk to people. I genuinely wanted to help people. Getting out and going to the network meetings, I joined a BNI group and doing those things. I think those were the two big things. And then third, marketing yourself. They say don't be a secret agent. And that was hard. Social media was so intimidating. I hate being on camera. I still hate being on camera. I hate pictures and posting things. They really encouraged us at the time, get on lives, walk through homes, do this and post, and don't be a secret agent. I think once I got comfortable, I say comfortable lightly because it's still uncomfortable, but I did it anyway. But starting to get out there and market myself and post and do the lives and all the things, I think all those things just came together and started having people reach out, gave me experience to take on to those next people.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think we forget that there's so much free marketing. Obviously, building relationships is so important. You have to be at the top of someone's mind and build a relationship with them if you're going to be successful in anything. There's so many free tools. You can get on and talk to people on live, on YouTube, on all these places that you can put your message out for free. You don't have to pay for a billboard. You don't have to spend a ton of money. You can go out, talk to people online and build relationships that way too and market that way.
Yeah. And honestly, for me, initially, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to reach out to people, but finding you can just reach out to people, genuinely check in on people. I've started when somebody pops into my mind, how you're just sitting there and all of a sudden you think of someone, I should reach out and say hi. Sometimes that's just, I don't know, you can say just a sign or just a sign to reach out to somebody. And I find when I do that and I listen to those prompts, I don't know, I feel sometimes they're ready, sometimes they're not. Sometimes I just get to check in and something big is happening in their life and I get to be a friend in that moment. And I wouldn't have otherwise done that. I think for me in this industry too, it's helped me be a better friend. I get so wrapped up in kids and life and work. I don't know that I would reach out to people as often as I do if it was part of just what I do on a daily basis. It's part of my life now. And I'm so thankful for that because I feel like a better person because I take the time to reach out and just check on people. And that's all it is. It's just checking on people and checking on your friends and checking in with old coworkers, just being authentic about it.
I would love just to ask you some more questions about that. I have a lot of people that listen that are in different fields that this would be really relevant to. I was just wondering, going back to your dad, if I already know that your dad's going to listen to this.
I know.
Which I have a lot of respect for him. Mm-hmm. He has rebuilt his life and he's an amazing dog trainer. I'm so glad that he made it through all of that.
Even though a lot of our relationship was phone calls and letters, he always had the ability to make me feel close to him. When people ask, are you close to your dad? I'm like, yeah, I'm actually very close to my dad, even though it was letters and phone calls. He's so great with his words. I always felt a close connection with him. Yes, it was hard. It had its moments and it's left its marks, but I wouldn't say I regret anything. In fact, I think it shaped me into a better person. If we had the money and everything we had back then, who knows, I could have been a spoiled little brat, not had appreciation for everything life has to offer. I would just say, don't beat yourself up over what happened. At least from my perspective, with time, it left me with a lot of good qualities that I get to take into my life now. I'm grateful for those qualities that it's given me.
You didn't let what happened that was out of your control define who you were. And ultimately, he didn't let it define who he was. He came out of it a different person, took accountability, changed his whole life. He lost a lot of years. He didn't let bitterness consume him. We can all learn from that. We can learn from you. We switched gears for a second. I have McCall here, and we are going to do a rapid fire speed question round.
I'm nervous.
There is no wrong answer. Just say the first thing that comes to your head. These are going to be related to her success in business because she is a boss. We all want to be the top of whatever it is that we're doing. We're going to learn from you here. What was the best motivational book that you've ever read that you recommend everyone must read?
Already a hard one.
You can give three if you can't choose one.
I would say, Tony Robbins is like a big motivator for me.
Yes.
His Unleash the Power Within. I think.
Amazing. Worth it.
I think that was so huge.
Did you do it in person or online?
The online one. I was supposed to go live and then COVID happened and then that's when he shifted everything.
Yes.
So I was so bummed. But I would say rather than a book, do a big mindset conference like that.
Yes.
That's my advice.
It's life-changing.
Yes.
What is one word clients would use to describe you?
I always get told that our relationship lasts beyond the transaction. I would say a friend.
And emails or phone calls?
Oh, phone calls all day.
Phone calls or texts?
Phone calls.
What motivates you more, freedom or security?
Security.
Security. It's still security, not freedom.
It's still security. A little bit of freedom in there, but security is like my main driver, I would say still.
And what's the best advice you've ever received in real estate or as a business owner in general?
That success doesn't have to look like everybody else's success. Your success is what you want your success to be. It doesn't have to be the yachts and the cars and all the things. You define your success, you shoot for that.
What's the worst advice that you've ever got, and hopefully you've ignored it?
To keep my clients in a Rolodex.
No, that is really bad advice.
Don't do that. There's technology for that, guys. Rolodex is out. Technology's in.
As a fellow ADHDer
Yes.
girl, what's your biggest hack for time blindness?
I would say just give yourself your 3 non-negotiables a day. Stick with that. Then if you go beyond that, fantastic. But make sure you check the 3 boxes every day. Just 3 things. Simplify.
3 things. Simplify. Yes. What is your negotiation style? Is it aggressive or not aggressive?
I would say not aggressive. I think when you get too aggressive, you're going to piss people off. My approach is more, let's make this a win-win. Obviously, my clients are always top priority, and I know their situation, and I may shoot a little beyond that, right? So if this is our number, we're going to say, okay, we're going to ask for this and hope we meet where we need to. But I still try to approach it as a win-win and try to make things work for both sides, because at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing.
Yes. How do you reset after a hard day?
I don't know that I ever get to reset with 3 kids that are young, but I think lately, just like at night after the kids go to bed, my sauna is like my adult timeout box.
I need to get one of those.
They're the best thing ever. I literally call it like my timeout room. Even if my kids are awake, I'm like, I'm going to go sit in timeout. Just give me 20 minutes. And just sweating and the red light therapy is just so therapeutic, meditative. I would say that's my reset for sure.
What's one thing that you stopped doing that changed everything?
One thing I stopped doing is trying to release expectations. Does that make sense? Because
did you read the
rejection
book
is painful.
Go for No?
No, I did not. Sounds like I need to add it to my
It's
list.
so good.
But yeah, all the no's are closer to a yes. And I think switching that in my mind has helped tremendously.
What is one thing that you wish new agents understood when they're first getting into real estate?
Gosh, there's so much. I always tell people, join a team. Just do it. Unless you're not wanting to do it full time and it's something you want to do on the side, do your thing. But if it's something that you want to make a career out of, join a team and get the foundation, because it'll help you.
What is the biggest misconception in real estate?
That it's freedom, because people are like, oh, freedom to do what I want and go, but it's not. You're going to do nights and weekends, and you're going to take calls on vacations, and it's not as much freedom as you think it is, but it's still great and worth it.
Do you have set tasks that you do every single day?
I do. I have a Trello. I don't know if you're familiar with Trello.
Yes.
I love that.
Trello.
I have all my little boards. So I have like my daily list. I have like my Monday list, Tuesday, Wednesday, my open house list, my under contract list. I have all sorts of lists. I'm a list freak. So I do have a daily checklist.
Isn't it so awesome checking things
Yes.
off? I sometimes will write something down even if I did it, because I need to get credit for that.
Yeah, I just want to feel accomplished. So I'm going to just put that down and check it off. So I feel like I
Definite
did something today.
Dopamine hit.
It is.
Okay. Did I ask you what skill makes you the most money?
No, you didn't. And that's
I
a
know
really
people
good
don't like to talk
question.
a lot about money, but let's just be real here. What skill have you developed that makes you the most money in your career?
I think just having empathy, honestly, like listening.
That is not an answer that I was expecting. I thought it was going to be.
I don't know that there's a specific skill. I think just listening and having empathy and genuinely wanting to help people.
I love that. Early morning or late night? I bet it's a late night.
I'm a late night person. I want it so bad to be an early morning. And I do. I'll go through phases where I'm great at the mornings, but then it's one late night I'm thrown off for at least a couple of weeks and then have to.
I can so relate. I tell everyone that my
do my
spirit
best work
animal
at
is a
night.
wolf.
Yes.
And I could feel it that your spirit animal is a wolf.
My best work's at night for sure.
Boundaries or hustle?
It is a little bit
Right.
of both, because I struggle with boundaries. I'm going to be totally honest. I'm a people pleaser. Boundaries are not my strong suit.
Which is why you lead with empathy and helping others.
Yeah, there it is. Therapy right here.
Is there one piece of advice that you want to leave as the number one
Oh, gosh.
in the future number one agent in the
okay.
state of Utah?
Yes, manifesting.
Yeah.
I love it. One piece of advice.
A big,
Oh,
solid,
my God.
amazing piece of advice.
This is putting me on the spot.
No, this is terrible of me.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
You can text it to me later.
I might have to. I would say just fail forward. That would be my advice. Fail forward.
That.
Yeah.
Fail forward. Everyone that is successful is just because they didn't quit. You went through hard times developing your success, right?
Oh, yeah. You can ask my husband. Still have days. I'm like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Kidding. But really, like in the beginning, especially when I was just I don't know what to do. There's a saying that I love, and it says, what you do in private shows in public. And I love that saying because it's what everybody sees in public. Everything happened behind the scenes, and you didn't see any of it.
That is such a good saying. Do you want to just look at the camera?
Sure.
And anyone that is on here, will you tell them to keep going? Give them like a 15-second pep talk, like from McCall.
I would honestly say the moment that you feel like giving up, you just have to push a centimeter more. The moment you want to give up just means you're that much closer to success, and you just have to push a tiny bit more.
It's like that guy with the
3 feet
pickaxe
away
from the
gold or whatever.
diamond.
That story, I love that story, and it's so
a good
true.
story.
And I've been
Yeah.
there. I have been at that moment of this isn't for me. Someone told me it's not for me. I am done. I just go back to that. The other thing I would say is, like we mentioned earlier, you have access to so much. There are blueprints and clues left everywhere. Go find them because they're there. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Podcasts, YouTube, social media, like all the things. Audible
is my
books.
best friend.
Books are amazing. Like people have taken years and years of knowledge that they've gained and put it into a book for us to access. And if you want it bad enough, you'll figure out a way to do it. And ChatGPT. Just saying.
And if you loved this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Please pass it on and subscribe so you never miss a moment. The shift you're looking for is already happening. Keep leaning into it. I'll see you next time. Let's keep shifting.